In today's video, we are going to dive into outfighting. Now, remember, the outside is called the outside because you are outside of punch range. Anything that you're going to do, you have to step into range and back out of range to attack and then to reestablish that outside distance. Every round starts on the outside, and between exchanges, you are on the outside. And even if you're an inside fighter or a shorter fighter, confidence and competence on the outside lets you be patient, lets you pick your moments, and lets you set your opponent up for a big fall. Roberto Duran, especially in the second half of his career, is a really good example of how a short inside fighter can benefit from learning the expectations and the decision-making of how to fight on the outside and make himself more dangerous. We're going to discuss the principles you need to win at this range and also look at several other legendary fighters with differing styles that succeed at this distance. Let's get to it and give you the knowledge you need to win when you fight. Assisting us with today's video on outside fighting is multiple-time, multiple-state Golden Glove champion, Tristan the Hero Harvey. A successful outfighting strategy has three guiding principles that you must manage. The first is that you must have ground at your back. The second is that you must have an exit strategy for your exchanges. And the third is that you must create ambiguity about where you're going and when you're attacking. The first of these three principles is having ground at your back. If I'm against the ropes, I can't manage distance. I can't exit easily backwards. I have to exit through or around somebody, which is dangerous. And I can't use my step back counters that many outfighters depend on. The next of these principles is having an exit strategy from exchanges. If I step into range from the outside so that I can throw punches and I stay there, I'm now in a risky middle distance exchange. I want to make sure that I'm light on that front foot so that I'm in and out or I'm in and through. This can look like me bouncing off of my front foot. It can look like me stepping in and pivoting to my closed side, or it can look like me stepping in and walking to my open side. But every single one of these ensures an exit and ensures that I'm not stuck on the line in the middle distance. The final of these three principles is ambiguity of movement. Your opponent shouldn't know where you're going or when you're attacking. You should use your foot feints laterally to shake them so they can't keep up with your movement, and you should use your entry feints to act like you're attacking and create ambiguity about when you're going to attack. These entry feints can be done with your feet, with your guard, you can feint a punch, you can even feint a level change. Every single one of these things communicates, I'm about to step into an attack, and your opponent should react appropriately. Different boxers are going to interpret and apply these principles differently. That's the fun of teaching principles, tactics, strategies, and truism instead of just techniques. Early in your development, you likely had a coach walk you through the three different ways to move around the ring. If you haven't, we have some YouTube videos from earlier in our channel that will run you through this topic. If you haven't watched our video titled How to Use the Ring, I suggest you pause and watch that before returning. I fear a lot of people's takeaway from that lesson is ring general good, running the ropes bad, but that is an overly simplistic and poor interpretation of the lesson. Boxing isn't about never making mistakes. It's about having the knowledge and the confidence to recognize the situation you're in and turn it to your advantage. And how you move around the ring and use the space is just another opportunity to hunt for an advantageous position and turn the fight in your favor. So now let's look at three very different interpretations of these outfighting principles. The first of these outfighting principles is to adhere to that four-leaf clover pattern. The basic strategy of this principle is you're trying to create the longest uninterrupted line of ground at your back. You're going to do this by kiting your opponent into the corner and then doing something clever to circle around them and refresh the ground at your back. Now, you don't just want to ping pong from corner to corner, so you're going to use your feints, your jab, your lateral movement, your counters and your defense to decay slowly through that line so that you don't get forced quickly from corner to corner and you can play your outfighting game as long as possible. To use this strategy, you need to have confidence fighting backwards and confidence exiting from the corner. It's not a coincidence that the two fighters that come to my mind when I think about this strat are Pernell Whitaker and Floyd Mayweather. We have the way that we want these strategies and these patterns to play out, but in practice, sometimes things get a little blurrier. So I always refer to the 4-leaf clover as well as the fat leaf clover. And that's kind of a funny thing to think about, but the idea is that most good, competent opponents aren't gonna let you circle completely behind them to get the entire line from corner to corner at your back. When you take that initial angle, they're gonna turn to meet you, and the two of you are gonna have to move laterally to a 50-50 at the center. Now, this is a pretty good consolation prize. You might not have the entire length of the ring to move through, but you have 50%, and you've certainly refreshed enough ground at your back that you can continue to use your outfighting strategy.
I want a like and subscribe.
Oh yeah, like and subscribe. If you guys are learning something and you guys are having fun and you recognize that I'm over here umming and mumbling and making all these mistakes because I'm trying to convey complex thoughts about boxing, the martial art of boxing to your folks. See, there it is right now. That proves I'm not AI. Give us a like and subscribe. Help us out. We're trying to hit 20K. Please be a part of that. Our next strategy is running the ropes. Now, generally, running the ropes is thought of as bad. Certainly, if you're the one pressuring, you don't want to be running the ropes. But if you're the outfighter, if you're giving ground, if you can deceive your opponent into chasing you, into not cutting you off, if you have very, very fast feet, these are all things that would allow you potentially to run the ropes and create an endless loop of ground at your back to deteriorate through as you kite your opponent onto shots. It's not a coincidence that the obvious, most legendary fighter that applies this tactic would be Muhammad Ali. And that makes perfect sense when you think about how fast his feet are and how he invites opponents to chase him. Whether it's because his hands are down and he looks hittable, or whether it's because he's taunting and antagonizing his opponent, he goads them into following him around the ring, and he can leave them in his wake while he snipes shots from a distance. Our final interpretation of these three principles would be the outside pressure style. This is a style where the basics of the strategy are, as long as I'm trending forward, as long as I'm chewing up more ground than I'm relinquishing, I will always have ground at my back to retreat into if things get hairy. Some good examples of fighters who use this would be somebody like Tommy Hearns. Very long fighters like this strategy, and good straight hitters like this strategy. But for me, an excellent showcase fight for this strategy is actually Triple G versus David Lemieux. A fighter like Sugar Ray Leonard would be great to study for somebody looking to switch through these strategies fluidly and situationally, which is the expectation. It's not about blindly adhering to a pattern of movement, it's about appropriately recognizing the situation and applying the correct strategy. Even if you're not an outfighter per se, every fight starts on the outside, and you need to show a modicum of skill there to get to the middle distance and get to the inside. I've beaten a lot of fighters that were more experienced or had more accolades than me on paper because I knew how to weaponize my ring position and my ring movement better than they did. I knew how to use my ring position to get the fight I wanted to get to win. My very first boxing coach used to tell me that if you're fighting a fair fight, you're fighting the wrong fight. And that wasn't him appealing to malicious cheating. That was him saying that you'd be silly not to hunt for advantages. That's what fighting's about. I hope I taught you something today that will help you succeed when you fight. You know?
All right. Rolling.
Good. This is kind of a funny thing to bring up at the end of this video. Forgive me, I'm speaking with you guys colloquially. But you know, when I was writing this script, I didn't really have it in mind that each of these styles aligned with one of those principles of outfighting. You saw in our middle distance video when we did this, the 3 styles lined up with how people valued those principles. They created the styles by valuing one principle obviously over the others. And I didn't realize it until we were halfway through shooting this video that it plays out the exact same way on the outside. The person who's making the 4-leaf clover, the thing they value the most is having ground at their back. The person who is the outside pressure fighter, the thing they value the most is their exit strategy. They're being greedy with the ground they're chewing up so they have room to retreat into. And that final strategy where you're running the ropes, that person values creating ambiguity about where they're going and when they're attacking. And I really think that the fact that these 3 principles align so well with these 3 styles means that it's a truism. This is something that supports itself. This is good, sound logic. I'm always here researching, I'm always here studying, and like I said, this script ain't off ChatGPT. This is me, and I'm learning on the fly, and I'm trying to share it with you guys as I can. Just like on my road to 100, I'm trying to learn as much as I can and share it, and I just really appreciate you folks. Thanks for letting me get sentimental at the end here. Good. I think that's good.
Nice. Good job.
You know, can I tell you, I've been hoping for something like that.
Yeah.
To show up for the outside because it's so obvious and clear in the middle distance.
That's awesome.
And it's got to be the same thing on the inside.
Right.
But I'm a little wishy-washy about if my principles are correct on the inside because I've got 3 principles on the inside. It's get your head to a safe position, create space on your terms, create traffic on the arms. And then I say you always have to punch in combination soft light. And then I say you need to be turning your opponent. And I think somewhere in those 5 things, 3 of them are probably the most important. And I'll bet you if I did enough tape study, I could find guys that reinforce that, just like on the outside and in the middle distance. But it's so hard because inside fighters are so few and far between that are competent that like I wouldn't even know the pool to start with. You know what I mean? But again, you know, I think about it. You know, you look at James Toney. James Toney is obviously all about turning people. You look at Jack Johnson and Roberto Duran. He's all about creating traffic on the arms. You look at a guy like, not Jarrett Hurd, the guy who fought him, J. Rock Williams. He's all about creating space on his terms. Yeah. Maybe there's something there. I got to do some more research.
Sounds good.
I love this, man.
Yeah.
I'm feeling motivated.
Yeah, that's good.
We're coming out of the winter.
What's up, baby?
This has been the roughest winter of my life, both physically and metaphorically.
I agree.
Yeah.